Hello everyone and welcome to week 1 task 3 Git and GitHub overview. I am your instructor Patrick Odhiambo. In this task we are going to do a basic introduction of what Git is and what GitHub is, and then at the tail end we will do a small hands-on which will come in form of a separate video from this one. So you'll be able to see me walk you through the process of downloading and installing Git and then setting up a GitHub account. So if you don't have Git or have never used Git before and you don't have a GitHub account, rest easy. I will walk you through the process of getting these tools installed in your PC or on your PC. So without further ado, let's go straight to our course. Now we start by asking ourselves this basic question: what is Git? And we define Git as a powerful version control system that allows developers such as yourself to track changes in your code, collaborate with others, and maintain a history of your project's evolution. This tool was created in 2005 by Linus Torvalds, and since then it has become the industry standard for version control due to its efficiency, flexibility, and robust features. Then we ask, why use Git? We use Git because of these 4 main reasons. Reason number 1 is version control. Git allows us to keep a detailed history of changes made to our code, making it easy to revert to previous versions if needed. Secondly, collaboration. Git allows us to work seamlessly with team members on the same project, even if these team members are located around the globe. Thirdly, branching and merging. Git allows for experimentation where new features can be experimented with or fixes in isolated branches, then merged into the main project without disrupting the workflow. And finally, when we are looking at backup, we see Git as a tool that allows us to store our code and recover this code when needed in case there are any unforeseen issues. So for instance, if you lose the code from your local repo, you can easily access the code that you saved in the remote repo, pull it to your local repo, and then continue your work undisturbed. Next, we define GitHub. So GitHub, when we think about GitHub, think of it like a library of sorts where we send our Git repositories and store them. So GitHub is a web-based platform that extends the functionality of Git by providing a collaborative space to host and manage Git repositories. It offers additional features like issues tracking, code reviews, and project management tools. Why use GitHub? We use GitHub because of these 4 key reasons. Reason number 1 is a centralized repository. So you can store your code in a remote repository, making it accessible from anywhere. So you don't need to carry your PC with you. Or if you've forgotten your PC and you'd like to access your code on the go, as long as you remember your username or your login credentials to your GitHub, you can easily get access to your code. Collaboration tools. This facilitates teamwork with features like pull requests, code reviews, and discussions. Think about community and open source. You can contribute to open source projects, share your own project, engage with a vast community of developers found on GitHub. Finally, integration. GitHub integrates easily with various CI/CD tools, project management software, and other development tools to streamline your workflow. We will learn more about CI/CD later in this project. Here are some basic commands. So the first command is git init, which initializes a new Git repository in the current directory. Git clone URL, it clones an existing repository from the specified URL. Git add file or git add dot adds the specified file or files to the staging area. Git commit -m double quote message, this commits the staged changes to the repository with a commit message. Then git status is used to display the status of your working directory and staging area. We continue with the commands. Git pull, used to fetch changes from a remote repository and integrate them into the local branch. Git push uploads local commits to a remote repository. Git branch, it lists all local branches in the repository. Git branch name, used to create a new branch with a specified name, e.g. git branch dev will create a branch called dev. Git branch prod will create a branch called prod. Then git checkout branch switches to the specified branch, e.g. git checkout dev will switch you from, say, main to the dev branch. Git fetch downloads objects and refs from another repository. So these are just some of the basic git commands, but there are others. So we will build on this as we continue with the project. What are some of the key features of GitHub? These ones we've already mentioned them before. Just remember, it's about repository hosting, use of collaboration tools, issue tracking, CI/CD integration, third-party service integration, and social coding aspects. So those are like the key features of GitHub. Finally, we look at the basic GitHub workflow. The workflow starts right from your local repo or in your local environment, say on your PC. So you start by working on the files and the folders that you'd like to send to your remote repository. Once you have worked on them and you feel that the changes that you've made are sufficient and you're ready to send them to GitHub, you will start by using the git add command, which will take the files and place them on a staging area. On the staging area, you can use the git commit -m double quote with a commit message, which will then take those files and those folders and place them where they can now be pushed into your remote repository using a git push command. Then, if you have been working with others on the same repository and you want to continue working, it's important to make sure that your local repo and your remote repo are at par. And the way to do this, if your teammates have added to what you had done in the remote repository, it will mean that the remote repository will be ahead of your local repository. So to bring it at par, you'll do a git pull, which will pull what is in the remote repository and missing in your local repository, bring it to your local repository, to combine it with what is in your local repository to make sure that they are at par. You can do a git checkout if you'd like to work on a different branch, and then once you have finished everything, you push it back. The workflow continues. It is circular. It starts from git add to git push, git pull, back to git add to git pull, you see. So that is what you will be doing. Now, in the next section, we will be looking at how to download Git and how to set up a GitHub account. So, thank you for your time and see you in the next.